Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to Benjamin Dagoski, hope I am pronouncing that correctly, for sending in this cool picture of his Imperial Guard engaged in a glorious last stand. I really like the little story that was attached to this picture, which is why, even though it's only a one picture, I still wanted to use it because it's cool. The description was the last stand of the command group of the 48th Vengeant Siege Grenadiers. Before the end, the senior officers gunned down a Hellbrute and made one final charge, hacking apart the enemy Chaos Terminator Warlord in close combat. Surrounded by the Lord's Terminator bodyguard, they remained defiant, their power swords glistening with the blood of their enemies. Cool! So cool! And as I commented, a glorious last stand for the Emperor is a true servant's death. So, thank you, Benjamin, for sending in this cool picture and the attached story with it. If anyone else wants to send any pictures in, please post on my Facebook page. There will be a link down in the description below. You're best putting them on the Facebook page rather than sending them to me in a message. Okay, if you put them on the Facebook page, I will see them. Okay, that I can't miss them. There, okay. Whereas you can understand, I get a lot of messages, so I might not see it if you send it to me in a message. So please put it on the page if possible. If you really want to send it to me in a message, that's fine. You might just need to remind me. Anyway, thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about? I've got my little notes. What are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about mind games in 40k. Now, we've talked about this a little bit in other videos. But we're going to be talking about today. It's a very interesting mind game, which is how to make your opponent kill what you want him to kill. Okay, so let's take a step back and look at this. We're playing 40k here. We're playing the Imperial Guard in 40k. Things are going to die. Okay. Your opponent is going to shoot you or chop you from close combat. That's going to happen. And the opening stages of the game are very important because that's when many games, 8th edition is better for this than other editions, but many games can be decided in the first few turns. And if your opponent kills some particularly key units, then it can be crippling for any army, but especially one like the Imperial Guard, because our greatest strength is the fact that we have combined arms, that we have good infantry, which are very good at being infantry, combined with tanks, which are very good at being tanks. The problem is that makes us very segmented, which means if your enemy has particularly good target priority, they can almost kick a leg out from underneath you, and you may find your infantry floundering without tank support, or your tanks lacking screens and getting taken apart. So you are going to lose stuff. It's important that you are able to play the mind game and make your opponent dance to your tunes. It's all about, we've done videos about this in the last month, it's all about sort of dictating the flow of the battle, momentum, mind games. Your opponent is going to want to kill things, and you are going to have to be like, yes, excellent. That was your first mistake. That's how you want to be. You want to lose things. You want to lose the things that you don't mind losing. Now, how do you do this? Okay. It's essentially like it's the good old-fashioned distraction card effects. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. The good old distraction card effects, which was something that came about, I think, in about 3rd or 4th edition Tyranids, which was kind of, and it's back again in 8th edition now because card effects are so cheap, like 80. I think you can take a basic card effects like 85 points, and if you don't kill it, it's going to fuck you up. It's going to do serious damage to you. So, what the distraction card effects worked on the principle of you have a card effect, it's a wrecking ball, you throw it towards your enemy, and they have to deal with it, and by the time they've dealt with it, the rest of your army is wrecking face, smashing the enemy. And it's kind of similar here. Now, the Imperial Guard, we don't really have a lot of units that charge up into the opponent's face. We have things like Hounds and stuff, but we can do it a bit, but it's not quite the same, which is why I'm talking about it as a separate video. Things like I've done a video on Bane Blades recently. Bane Blades are great at this, but they can be a little bit of a pricey investment to have as a pure distraction carnifex. You want them to do other stuff as well. What you want, ideally, is units that have a big, imposing, threatening look to them, but that if they die, they don't cripple your army. They're not an over-investment. So there are some units which even skilled tournament players will instinctively think, ooh, that has to be dealt with. Okay, now the two ways you can do that is you can get it into your opponent's face, or you can have something with a big fucking gun on it. A BFG. Okay? First thing that comes to mind for me on the getting your opponent's face are things like Hellhounds. Hellhounds are great at this. Scout Sentinels with Heavy Flamers, not so much. They're just a screening unit. But Hellhounds, you take 2-3 Hellhounds. It's only about 300 points, maybe a little bit over. You smash that up one flank. You burn the entire area. You kill anything with more than 2 legs. Your opponent's going to have to deal with that, because if they don't, those Hellhounds are going to keep on burning, and they're going to be a problem. So Hellhounds are great at this, and so whilst your opponent is busy dealing with your Hellhounds, the rest of your army, your heavy weapon teams, your good old infantry squads, your foot veterans. People ask me, why do you take foot veterans? They always die. Well, let me tell you. Foot veterans don't die when the opponent is dealing with things that they perceive to be more threat than a slightly different looking infantry squad. But meanwhile, those foot veterans in a Creed Firebase, go and check out my Creed Firebase video, they're doing some serious damage. But the key to keeping them alive is to have something which the opponent perceives as more threatening than a bunch of veterans. So that's one way of doing it. Hellhounds charging up the field, things, or whatever, Bane Wolves, Devil Dogs, your flavour of fast Chimera unit, that's what you want to be thinking about. Second thing you want to consider is something like a Lehman Russ. Okay, now there are many different Lehman Russes to choose from. Okay, and many people will take 4, 5, maybe even 6 Lehman Russes in their army. That's not uncommon. Now, if you take, now that means your opponent is going to kill some of your Lehman Russes in his first turn. Maybe he'll kill 2 Lehman Russes in his first turn. You have to make sure he kills the ones that you want him to kill. Okay? So ones that are particularly good at this are Punishers and Demolishers. Okay? If you're taking, I see people that say, oh, take the Punisher, smash like 3 Heavy Flamers on it. And I'm just there going, no, don't do that. Because Heavy Flamers are expensive. Even with the slight point reduction that they've received, they are expensive. If you that means when they die, you are wasted, and they are going to die, because Punishers, everyone knows Punishers are great and Demolishers are great. It's the Lehman Russ Punisher, goddammit. It's in the name. The Lehman Russ Demolisher. It's in the freaking name. So they're quite good, because they're going to be going up close anyway, because they're short range guns. So what I recommend is you either take a Lehman Russ Punisher with just like a heavy flame if you really want one, or three heavy bolters and a heavy stubber. Now you might say, why the heavy stubber? Because that thing's bristling with weapons. Heavy stubbers are actually quite big, and when your opponents, think about it, take a Lehman Russ now. If you've got one which has got a Punisher cannon, 3 heavy bolters and a heavy stubber, and just put it in front of you and look at it, you're seeing it from your opponent's point of view. That's a lot of gun, but it's quite cheap. It's a relatively cheap package. So think about that way. Demolishers, same thing. Now they've had a big points reduction, they're really good again. Demolisher, 3 heavy bolters. If you want to spend the extra 4 points, spring for plasma cannons. The reason being is they will get your opponent's attention. Fucking hell, it's got a Demolisher cannon, a heavy stubber, a heavy bolter, and 2 plasma cannons. Fuck, I gotta kill that thing. So there you go. And that way your opponent is killing a Lehman Russ which you don't mind him killing. Meanwhile, in the background, you might have just a bare bones tank commander with a battle cannon, which is actually doing way more damage. Now, one other thing is Pask is always very... If you're taking Pask, he's always on your enemy's high priority target list. So he's probably going to die, but a bare bones Pask can also be quite a good distraction kind of effect. I'll tell you what often shits people up is the Basilisk. Okay, now let me talk, because it's got a big cannon, but it doesn't actually do a huge amount of damage to the Basilisk. It's got a decent rate of fire, but it's nowhere near the same firepower as a tank commander, but it can intimidate your opponent. And it can be, it's a little easier to kill. So your opponent might go, oh well, I'll kill that Basilisk. It's got a big gun and it's easier to kill. It's only toughness 7. Yeah, I'll kill the Basilisk first. Meanwhile, your tank commander's sitting there rubbing his hands, going, "Hey, you've just left me alive, and I've got the big relic battle cannon and a las cannon maybe. Ooh, you've fucked up there, boyo." That's what he's thinking. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room, which is the Death Strike missile. Let me tell you, the Death Strike missile is a fucking joke. Do not take it. Do not be lured into false insecurity. No, if you will see guard commanders say, "I like to take this thing because it just draws the enemy's firepower," let me tell you, if in a tournament, even if I'm facing a Death Strike, I'm not going to fucking shoot at it. Just not going to do it, okay? Because it's that shit. If it goes off, oh no, it does some mortal wounds. Oh, it kills like 10, 15 guardsmen and maybe like damages a tank or 2. Oh shit. It's just a joke. Okay? Death Strike Missile is not a viable, unless you're playing against noobs. Unless you're playing against newer players, Death Strike Missile is not really a good choice. It will just be ignored. Okay? And it's not very good. Even spamming 3, and it's expensive as well. It's shit. Even if it was 50 points, I probably wouldn't take it. That's nah. Unless it had the ability to literally, you fire it on a 2+, the enemy just dies. Unless it's something ridiculously powerful like that, one single model just dies. Ignore it. Okay. So there you go, guys. They're my recommendations. What do you guys think are good distraction card effects? Now, I haven't included things like outflanking units or scions because they're a turn 2 unit and they're slightly different, though they can work. I'm talking about from the beginning of the game, dictating your opponent's target priority. Okay, playing the mind games. What do you guys think? Thank you for listening. Please put your suggestions down below. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.